Good morning, everybody. How was your Monday? We warmed up for a little bit, and then here I am wanting to wear tank top, and it's cold. Welcome to spring. And that brings us to our talk today. We're going to talk about a spring cleanse and how to be strategic about it, how to actually cleanse without all the extremes, no deprivation. Um, yeah, you might have to eliminate things for a little bit, but for the most part, it works seamlessly within your life. There's not a significant need to disrupt everything in the world just so that you can cleanse. Let's start first with why. Why we feel this draw to cleanse, to flush, to just shed skin in springtime. Have you ever noticed that every spring you feel like you just want to shed some skin? It's pretty normal, and actually traditional Chinese medicine shares philosophies that align with this. So during wintertime, it's important. During wintertime, what you're doing is it's like stagnation, it's hibernation. So when a bear goes into hibernation, we tend to go into similar situations. Our body likes to slow and get stagnant, and I get it, to create heat, we're supposed to move, right? But the body feels like this is sleep time. This isn't time to be energetic. This isn't time to be energized, to bring life to the party. This is the time to kind of hunker down and hibernate, for lack of a better word, hibernate. And once we hit those days where cold, hot, cold, cold, hot, your body starts to get excited for the energy that summer brings with it. So spring tends to be the time frame when many of us feel this need to shed skin, to wake ourselves up. And if you do a spring cleanse in a healthy manner, and something that's a little bit not as drastic, kind of mild, you can feel energized and energetic within days. You could do this cleanse really, truly any time during the year, but most common and part of the reason that we're doing this today, we're talking about this topic today, is because spring's on us. And I don't know about you, but my sugar-free March Madness this month, timing could not have been better. I will tell you, March 1st, I really was not feeling it. I was not feeling it. I just found the mint creamer that I put up on the page and finished it. And I really wanted to go and get some more. Really. But did not. I'm drinking coffee without sugar. It takes a couple days to get used to it. I still have my milk in here. I'm sorry. I'm never going to go coffee without milk. And I just can't. I don't know about you, but I just can't. So the timing of that was pretty perfect. It was probably about a week or two early for my body to go, okay, it's time. Now is the time. And I've had clients who can pinpoint the week every year. So one of the things I recommend is if you're considering a spring cleanse, and if it's something that you felt a draw to do every single year, look at your year. Look at the timing. Is it the same every year? And if it is, then you can get ahead of it. So for me, it's the middle of March, right? Right about now, I feel like I should be in the throes of a week-long cleanse. I can't do more than that. Not saying you can't, but 7 days is pretty perfect for me. But right now, I feel like I should be in the middle of it. I should be in the throes of a spring cleanse. And thankfully I am, but you feel that draw, and you might feel it when you should have started a cleanse, but you didn't realize it. And if this is the habitual feeling, if this is something that you feel every single year, which, by the way, is perfectly normal, very healthy, and most definitely aligned with the TCM philosophies around health and nutrition. There are 24 different points within a year. They use 2-week time frames. And at this point, we are end of winter, beginning of spring. We're about to embark into spring, right? Spring is right around the corner. The official first day of spring is right around the corner. So this is a great time. A week or two before spring actually starts is a great time to schedule your cleanse. But as I was just saying, you want to make sure that this aligns with your natural tendencies. If you hit this time frame and you're like, nah, I'm not ready yet, or if you're further north and you guys are still dealing with snow, then maybe it's not the right time for you. Maybe you need to put it off and do it a week or two after spring, or right when spring starts. Whatever the case is, the top recommendation I can tell you year in, year out is to start tracking this, start taking notes, figure out what timing is best for you. And when you're looking at strategy of a spring cleanse and the reason why you would do a spring cleanse, the liver really comes into play here. And I hear a lot of people who tell me, well, why do I even need to do this? The liver cleanses and detoxifies every single day. I don't need to do this. You are correct. You don't. But if you feel that draw to flush, to shed your skin, then using a cleanse, and the way that I do this is I have an overabundance of micronutrients. I call it an infusion of micronutrients for the week. Majority are plant-based. I keep it simple. I keep it easy. I love to just let things be simple and easy, especially with a cleanse, because if it's challenging and you're dealing with accountants right now, tax season, they're crazy busy, right? Add anything else on top of that. Now you're overwhelmed. You've upped your stress levels, which is part of this. And it can be a struggle. And the whole point behind shedding your skin is to get rid of the things weighing you down. In wintertime, we tend to eat more comfort foods. They're hot, they're warm, they're heavy. And in summer, we tend to crave lighter foods. Well, there's a transition between the heavier foods to the lighter foods. A spring cleanse helps ease that transition so that you can go from heavier winter foods into those lighter summer foods and feel like your body is following that same flow. Okay, think of it like a river. You get the challenge up here, right? Or down here in summer, it's very energetic. The movement is high. And then it tends to die off. It gets a little colder, so it calms a little bit. And then it becomes pretty stagnant, right? Which is your winter time. And then as you get some heat, it's going to start bubbling again. And that's where we hit spring. However, if you're coming out of winter and you're already bubbling, adding a cleanse in might send you over the edge. So you really want to look at timing. You want to look at your own life. You want to look at how you're feeling, not just the external stressors, but internal too. Is this good timing for you? Figure out what your timing is. That is step one. Now, there are a total of 5 steps, and we're going to walk through all of these so that you can strategize and make sure that your cleanse is the most successful spring cleanse you could ever develop for yourself. Why wouldn't you do anything else, right? It seems pretty easy. But when you have a lot of marketing influence and you've got a lot of things coming at you, do this, do that, do this, it's hard to know what is the best practices. So step one is to just start tracking. Figure out when your best time is. Now, this may not happen during year 1. This may happen during year 2 or year 3 of your tracking. And that's perfectly okay. With these fun little things called Google Calendar. And what I usually do is I set a calendar event. Okay, so the following year, like today, I feel very like I should be in the throes of this spring cleanse, right? So what I'll end up doing is I will write that in my calendar as an event for next year. And when I hit next year, I'm going to see where I'm at. I'm going to look at the same time frame because I'm going to have a reminder. I always get 10-minute reminders. I have an auto setting for that. And when that pops up, I can go, oh, wait, I am feeling that way today. Again, maybe this is a pattern. Or, no, not so much. But when I do feel that feeling, I put it in my calendar for the following year. So that way I can track how I'm feeling without keeping track of journals throughout the year, which would be really hard for me to do. If you are one of those people that can keep track of that, by all means, please feel free. I'm just not one of them. So let's chat about these other things. So when you're looking at a spring cleanse, there's a couple of different categories you want to look at. You don't just want to look at, okay, well, I'm going to eat all of these fresh vegetables and fruit, and that's going to be my cleanse. That doesn't set up anybody for a success, especially given our food system today. So you really want to look at your diet. Okay, you want to try and make sure your diet is mostly plant-based. That's how you get the infusion of the micronutrients. You want to look at your mindset. You want to look at your physical activity. And you want to look at some herbal medicine. Yes, more plants, but guess what? Spices and herbs flavor our food. In addition, they help our body to perform certain functions. They help our body protect ourselves. They help boost immune systems, decrease stress levels, perceived stress levels. So your stress may not change, but the way you feel it can be diminished. It can be reduced so that your brain, your conscious brain, can start really managing and dealing with whatever that stressor is without those emotional feelings of overwhelm. That plays into our mindset. Without some mindset activities, you can keep going and do this step by step, but at the end, you may still feel like you have to shed your skin. So one of the things I recommend, especially with mindset, is a gratitude journal. We're reawakening ourselves. We're reawakening nature. Nature is reawakening us. It's that whole cycle that I'm always talking about. We are connected to nature. And when you're in this cycle, practicing your gratitude for Mother Nature, for the earth, for whatever higher power you may believe in, really helps your brain focus on more positive and uplifting feelings and emotions. And by doing that, now you are fueling cravings for healthier foods, okay? Healthier, happier foods. You heard me say that? That's what we're going for here. The higher the micronutrients, the happier, the lighter your body tends to feel, because you're not putting something that is very heavy, that is harder to digest. Something like red meat, it's very hard for our bodies to digest. It's one of the hardest substances for us to digest. And I don't know, I feel this, a lot of my clients have felt this, a lot of my friends have felt this. When you eat red meat, it feels like you just put a rock in your stomach. And that's because your body struggles to digest it. Your red meat does not digest until it hits your intestines. It doesn't really break down much. It's just very difficult for our body to digest. So when you're looking at your diet and this infusion of micronutrients, what a plant-based diet also does is that it gives you the easy to digest food. Now, I am not saying go complete vegan, go vegetarian. You could do this as an omnivore. You totally could. Make your diet 60 to 80% plant-based. I prefer 80, but you know what? We'll go with 60. If it is higher than your usual, it counts as an infusion, okay? Look at it that way. This does not have to be drastic, remember? We're trying to improve. We're trying to shed skin. We're not trying to overwhelm and send you into a healing crisis. If you don't know what a healing crisis is, effectively, it is where your body is healing, but in order to heal, it has to reverse the stages that it took to get to the unhealthy place that you're in currently. Okay. If you reverse backwards too quickly, too drastically, or you start to cleanse and detoxify too drastically, it can send off what's called a healing crisis. And what that means is your body is flushing everything out, and it mimics a cold, a flu. And in many cases, what has actually happened is your immune system was struggling to fight whatever in the world. And then this thing happened where you started shifting your diet dramatically, and your body went, wait, we need to catch up, which shut down your immune function and sent you into a healing crisis. It is not a condition. It is not an illness. Let me just put that disclaimer out there. It is merely a term in holistic science that we use to describe the repercussions of doing something too drastically with your diet. Okay, that's all it is. So now once you have your plant-based diet in, what else should you do? All right, so we've got looking at your log, right? And your 4 components need to be included: your herbal medicine, your plant-based diet, mindset, and physical activity. We're not going to focus so much on physical activity with this chat, and here's why. Physical activity is pretty simple. Make sure you get 30 minutes of activity every day. Now, when you're cleansing, sometimes it can feel as though 30 minutes is a lot. It's extreme. Don't go too intense. Don't go too intense with this. When you're cleansing, keep it mild. Some yoga, some walking. Be careful with putting your head below your heart. Sometimes when you're shifting and you're eating such an easy to digest diet, and it's not something your body is used to, it can make you dizzy. So just be careful. Watch with the head below the heart if you are cleansing, and this is not something that is normal for you. If you're using this cleanse to set off healthier habits, to get rid of and ditch that processed food, most definitely, please pay attention to putting your head below your heart when you're practicing yoga, tai chi, or any other stretching exercise, okay? Or, active exercise of any kind. So now, how long? We've got the components, right? And we'll go over the herbs in just a minute. We've got the component. We've got your herbal medicine, your diet, physical and mental health, right? You've got your log. Well, know your components, know what you want to put in your components. And now we need to talk about duration. What works best for you? You don't necessarily need a full month. I do a month of sugar-free because that has been the most successful for me with my clients. The majority of the people that actually actively participate in the sugar-free March Madness end up in April not even craving sugar. They're not craving sugar. So 30 days for spring cleanse, where is sugar-free, no added sugar, nothing else really changes, just no added sugar. It's ideal. When you're looking at your own spring cleanse, does 7 days work? 14, 21, 28? Does a 30-day cleanse work? You want to look at this. If you're shifting from an unprocessed, unhealthy diet to something that is healthier and trying to launch into just a healthier lifestyle long-term, look at a 28-day cleanse. Now, I'm not saying you have to be strict during that 28 days and do an exact cleanse for the entire time, but maybe you could do it in stages. Start with a strict 7-day cleanse. You're 100% on point. And then following that, add things in that are healthy that you may have taken out. So some people remove gluten, dairy, a lot of the allergens. Whole30 is an excellent program to follow. They have a lot of support. They have a ton of recipes, you guys, a ton of recipes. No added sugar. They take out all of the allergens and more common sensitivities. And if that is your issue, then that is actually a highly recommended program, something to do on your own. I have several of mine that have been adopted from those same philosophies, because effectively what she's done is she's taken our standard elimination diet and really customized and streamlined it to match the recommendations Melissa provides to her clients. It's a great program. If you just want to do things on your own, you don't want to fuss with anything else, go get the book, go online, look up her website, and just do it. It's a great program. It's 30 days. And here's the thing to keep in mind with that 30 days is, whether you're doing a 7-day or a 28-day, your duration is actually extended by 2. So if you're doing a 7-day cleanse, it will technically take you 14 days to get back to just healthy lifestyle. If you're doing a 14-day cleanse, it's technically going to take you 28 days. For 30 days, it takes you 2 months. Here's why. When you're done with your cleanse time period, the active cleanse period, what follows is a period of reintroduction. What you're reintroducing are the foods that you may have removed: gluten, dairy, beans, peanuts, soy, things of that nature. Sugar's a little bit different. I don't recommend you reintroduce sugar. What typically happens at the end of sugar-free March Madness is if there's something that you are truly craving, some sort of sweet in your coffee, and that's the only thing you're craving, then that can be added back in. If you're craving nothing, then you just continue with life. You move on. You just go for it. And maybe occasionally have dessert here and there. And that's about it. Anything else, you're going to need a reintroduction period. If you're getting rid of gluten and you want to add it back in, or any of the other allergens, to see what sensitivities really truly are affecting you, if it's your sensitivities or if it's your gut health, then you want that reintroduction time. You reintroduce one thing at a time over 3 days each. Okay, what that means is you introduce one food 3 days later, and it's one serving of that food every single day for 3 days. 3 days later, you add a food. You give that food 3 days before you add another one, until you've reintroduced all of the foods that you removed during your cleanse. This does not count with sugar. This does not count with any processed ingredients. I will always recommend you avoid processed ingredients as much as possible. And I will always recommend you avoid added sugar unless it is an indulgence. Indulgences don't count. They can just be what they're going to be. If they're occasional, no big deal. Go have a treat. Whatever you want to call it, go have a treat. Enjoy yourself. Now, the one thing we have not talked about is herbs and hydration. And I usually harp on hydration, which is part of the reason I wanted to make a concerted effort not to do so during this talk today. Make sure you're hydrated. As any given time, make sure you're hydrated. If you're trying to set up a spring cleanse for yourself and you're going unprocessed, unhealthy to healthy, okay? And even if it's not processed food, that's your problem. If you're going from wherever you're at and feel like you're in an unhealthy state to a much healthier state, you want to make sure you hydrate, but hydrate strategically. Don't go 30 ounces to 80. You'll be peeing like a racehorse for weeks. Slowly bump it up. So if you're only drinking 30 ounces of water, start drinking 40. Give it a day or two. Add 10 more ounces. Got it? Yes, you'll still be like a racehorse, but your body will get the clue that you're drinking more water and it can now hydrate itself. If hydration is an issue, if you're peeing and your pee is not a clear, pale yellow, then you might want to add in electrolyte of some sort. And here's what I recommend for an electrolyte. Makes it very easy, very simple. During your spring cleanse, I always recommend herbal tisanes as a beverage because it's not straight water. It's not going to dehydrate you, not like tea leaves or coffee do, or even soda. Even sparkling soda, you guys. Sparkling soda or sparkling water is not water. It is not hydration. Okay? It is a carbonated beverage. It will still dehydrate you. All right? So you still want the water in, but if water is not your thing, hello, right here. I don't like the taste of water. It takes me a while. I usually put things in my water. It's how these herbs came to be. Or this recommendation for herbs and fruits and stuff in your water. You want to make sure that whatever you're doing helps you hydrate, right? So you're having trouble hydrating, you go to look at your pee, it is not that pale yellow. You need to do something to boost hydration. A trick is to either have 6 ounces of an electrolyte sport drink of some sort, or put a pinch of salt into something. What you're drinking. What I'd like to do is suggest Himalayan salt inside your water. What can make it taste a little bit better, so it doesn't taste like you're drinking salt water, is add some lemon juice into it. Make kind of a lemonade. And even add some sugar. My favorite recommendation is take lemonade, put a pinch of salt in it, and have a glass of lemonade. Especially in summer, it's ideal. It's perfect. Lemonade is kind of made for summer, isn't it? So That's the best way to hydrate when drinking water isn't enough for you. Okay. Now, what about these herbs that I keep talking about and pushing off and pushing off and pushing off? All right. So, spring is a great time for herbal medicine, you guys. It is a phenomenal time for herbal medicine. And here's why. Many of the herbs and spices that we use in our food help us cleanse and flush and shed our skin. It supports that. It supports our immune system. It provides anti-inflammatories. It provides stress relievers. Let me see. There's lymphatic drainage. Some of them can even act as an electrolyte, even though not technically. And then you have some of the women's health support herbs. Okay, so let's go over these for just a minute. We're going to talk about the most effective to the least effective. Okay, so the ones that you really truly want to pay attention to: dandelion. I cannot harp on dandelion enough. I know everyone thinks it's just a weed that sits on the side of the road, right? No. The root can be roasted and turned into a very light espresso. If you're giving up caffeine as part of your spring cleanse, a dandelion root espresso is an excellent way to go. One of my favorite brands, they've created a instant coffee from dandelion root. It's called Dainty Blend, and let me write that down. So I want to put that link into the show notes. And Dainty Blend comes on, I think you can get it still on Amazon now. You might have to go to iHerb. I will make sure to include whatever link that is below. And it tastes like a very light espresso. So if you're giving up caffeine or you're giving up coffee, not necessarily caffeine, but coffee, and you're struggling, this is an excellent way to still have that coffee flavor without the dehydrating effects of coffee or the effects of the caffeine within the coffee, depending on what you're trying to flush out of your body. A second is burdock root. Now, burdock root typically found as supplements, not necessarily a tea or anything like that. Dandelion, you can enjoy the root. You can enjoy dandelion tea. I highly recommend taking dandelion tea and pairing it with something. Dandelion tea tastes great with a raspberry hibiscus, a red clover, peppermint, spearmint, any of the lemon ginger teas. Now, the raspberry hibiscus and the red clover, they all support women's health. They all support our health, and they help our systems, the female hormones. It helps our systems operate properly. If you are trying to conceive, be careful with the hibiscus, okay? If you're trying to avoid getting pregnant, overdose on it. You would be very surprised. Now, with burdock root, it really is just a supplement. It's a ground up supplement. You could do an infusion of it, but it tastes like dirt. So maybe not. And the next one on my list is one that I love mentioning during springtime because people, when I mention it in real life, a lot of people look at me and go, wait, that's not a herb. That's a food. That's something we eat. A lot of our food come from the ground, right? Our herbs come from the ground. All herbs are the plants that we found have helpful healing benefits or supportive benefits to our health. And effectively, what has happened with herbal and traditional medicine is many, many years ago in ancient societies, they discovered these plants and their protective abilities to protect themselves, to support themselves, and started using it in humans and discovered it helps, it works. Hence, herbal and traditional medicine. Here you go, right here on a serving plate. All right, so what is that thing that is herbal medicine, but it's also food? Artichokes. Easiest way to prep an artichoke: chop off the stem, rub it with half a lemon, and take the half a lemon and stick it on the top. You know where the spiky things are? Stick it on the top, put it into a steamer or boiling water for good 50 minutes or so. Pull it out, make yourself a little hummus or aioli of some sort, start dipping and eating. Serving size is half, but I can tell you guys right now, I eat the whole thing. It is so good. And then once you get down to the part where you have the heart, you take all the thin fibers off the top and you have your heart. Don't eat the thin fibers, you guys. Don't. They're nasty. Don't eat those. But the heart from a freshly cooked artichoke, buying canned artichoke hearts will never be the same once you eat a fresh one. Artichokes detoxify. They support our liver. They help our liver in cleansing and detoxifying itself and just flushing out the bad so that there's more room for the good. All right, so now let's talk about anti-inflammatories and stress reducers. There's a couple of them that you might have already had experience with or had a lot of knowledge of them. So we're going to go through these really quickly. Garlic, all-around healer, stress support, immune support. Lemon balm. The thing with lemon balm is you want to drink it every evening. It helps you with sleep, but it's a buildup herb. It does not help just by drinking one. It is something that you want to continuously drink. Lemon balm is like dandelion tea. Put something with it. It can taste a little bit like dirt, a little bit like grass. I think lemon balm tastes more like grass than dandelion, which is kind of interesting because when you smell lemon balm out in your yard, it smells like lemons, but it does not taste like lemons. I can promise you that. All right. So lemon balm, it really does help with stress, and it's very mild and seamless. We don't really notice the difference for weeks. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm sleeping better. Turmeric, ginger, echinacea, all of these things, anti-inflammatory, immune boosters. They help your gut. They help soothe the outer linings and infuse your body with some vitamin C. And one final one that I want to make sure you are truly taking advantage of with the spring is all of your berries. And it sounds really funky, but berries and mint combine anti-inflammatories, immune boosters. They are cleansing and detoxifying, and they are friggin' delicious. So, use them, eat them, enjoy them. Right now, there is all sorts of berry picking all over the country. It's delicious. So enjoy, go have fun, take the family out for a day, have a day at one of the farms locally and pick some berries. If you eat it here on the way, go. It's okay. I won't tell anyone. All right. So let's go over the 5 strategies. All right. Let's simplify it, summarize it here for you. Here's your 5 strategies. First, keep a log so that next year and the year after, you time your spring cleanse better and better. Maybe you can get ahead of it and alleviate some of the negative feelings that come with wanting to shed your skin. For some of us who are fighting mental illness or any sort of struggle emotionally or mentally, it can feel like someone's holding you tight and you just want to get out. You want to break out of your shell, right? Like a caterpillar gets out of its cocoon. So keeping track of timing helps you figure out when the best time is for you to do a spring cleanse. All right. And second is to make sure you're eating a healthy diet, something that is very plant-based, 60-80%. Remember, minimize the hard to digest foods. Pay attention to your mindset. Make sure you're doing something with your mindset. You've got some gratitude journals going, Tai Chi, yoga, something. And just be careful. Head below the heart can cause some dizziness. Figure out a good time frame for yourself. What is the best time frame for you, for your health, for your life, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel drastic. It feels like something that just happens every year. You know, March 15th hits, my week-long cleanse. Moving on, right? Here's the steps that I take, and that's it. And then finally, number 5, use your herbs. Use herbal medicine. We are going to talk, and we're going to continue this talk actually next week by talking about what you don't want to do and setting yourself up for success once you're done with your spring cleanse. So you finished it, but now what? A lot of people get to that very last day and they move on to the next day and they go back to old habits simply because they don't really know what to do. So we're going to walk through a process that gives you step by step what to do. Okay. That way, when you finish the spring cleanse, you can move on into a healthier life or return back to your healthier habits or continue healing. There's 3 paths that people take when they're finished with the spring cleanse. And we all start in different places. We're all going to finish in different places. So I will meet you back here next week so that we can continue this talk and really make sure we all have an excellent, successful spring cleanse and hit summer with excitement, energy, and vibrance that we may not have felt last year. Is that good? All right. I will see you then. Cheers. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.